Welcome everybody. My name is Jim Rhodes. It's my opportunity to welcome you to our Thursday evening webinar. Appreciate you taking time out of busy schedules to join us. First of all, let me let you know we're soaring with the eagles and welcome you to the world of Isogenics, world leader in nutritional cleansing, youthful aging, and nutritional replenishing, all very vital in our world today if we want to live healthy and long. Congratulations, those of you who've decided to join us tonight. I might tell you you're a special VIP and we recognize you for wanting to improve your ability to share the Isogenics products or receive maximum benefits from them. The Isogenics products are unique. They're one of a kind. John Anderson came out of retirement some 10-12 years ago to build something that had never been built. A system of products, of foods, of living foods, I might say, that would accomplish 4 things, and now 5. 1, help the body cleanse itself of impurities. And I mention the word help because the body is trying to do it on its own. The Isogenics Cleanse for Life juice helps that process much faster and much deeper, getting at things that sometimes never get removed. And that makes it one-of-a-kind cleanse of the entire body. Second, replenish the body with 100% of the nutrition it needs with living food, including the missing nutrients, especially the minerals. Isogenics does it better than any I've ever seen because they have found the missing minerals from an organic source of plants, and all of the foods contain those missing minerals. 3, John gave it a delivery system of live enzymes that break these components down and carry them into the body where they're used. 4, he's put it together in a program of foods with low calorie and low sugar, making it possible for us to fight one more epidemic, which is obesity. Obesity has increased over 300% in the last 2 decades. 300% among our children. So if we want to change up their future, we need a superfood, and that's what I believe Isogenics is. It doesn't have to be the exclusive food. It's part of a healthy diet, a healthy exercise regime. Proper rest and proper stress management makes a huge impact on our children and our lives. And now number 5, longevity. Simply means living longer or living as long as our potential. Now with product B, the possibilities are limitless. I think we'll start breaking records. Hopefully we can start to recognize the improvement in our own health and how well we feel and how long we live by using all of the systems of the Cleanse for Life, of the Replenish with the protein shakes, of the stress management product, Ionic Supreme, of slowing down oxidative stress at cellular level with the Ageless Essentials, and now product B, working on our telomere support with the best nutrition, the most hits of any product in the world, and we have it. It's ours. So now that we have this perfect food, or at least as good as it probably can get for now, even though John and all of the scientific team continues to work on it and make it better daily, literally, improving on it all the time, we now have an opportunity to also improve our financial health. Many of us are struggling in this economy, and I understand. I talk to people every day that have been downsized and outsized. I talk to people who are in foreclosure in their homes and their cars, people who can no longer send their children to the schools and colleges that they want to. Why? Because of lack of income. But more important than all of that, because they still have each other and they usually have a roof over their head, even if it's smaller and more humble, it's where is their time? Their time is now consumed working 2, and I know some families 3 jobs, both husband and wife working, both out of the home, no longer being at home with their children. What if we could find a way that really worked? When I talk to people about network marketing, a lot of people out there are turned off. That's unfortunate. And that's because of our own silliness in the past with some network marketing companies only looking at profit, not caring what results were. So the first ones in made some profit, the last ones in got burnt and stung, and they're mad, and I can't blame them. What if, however, when you approach a person who's had that bad experience, you talk to them about what it was that attracted them to network marketing in the first place? Wasn't it extra income? Wasn't it the fact that with the extra income they could do what they wanted, when they wanted, with whom they wanted? They had the time freedom that they could only dream about? Well, rebuild the dream, rekindle the dream. Here's why. Personal opinion, Isagenix brings it back, only this time it's real. It was the real reason they joined a network marketing company in the first place. Just because you experience a bad restaurant by going out with your sweetheart and eating food that you paid high amounts for that didn't taste good, didn't live up to your expectation, does that mean you stop eating and never go to another restaurant? I hope not. I hope you're brave enough to go out and find a better one, the one that you were looking for in the first place. May I tell you, in my personal opinion, Isagenix is the one they were looking for in the first place. We have exceptional products that do what we suggest they do, and then some. We have a stellar marketing plan that works. How do we know? We've got over 60 millionaires. And that's minor, that's small stuff. The big stuff are the thousands of people who are making an extra $200, $500, $800 a month. That's an extra car payment. That sometimes saves the house. Plan B becomes Plan A if you get downsized at work. We have a recession-proof product called Go to Work, share the program with others, let them have the beautiful outcome that we have, and watch them also make residual income. Now, I would like to teach you a principle, and I'm going to start by telling you a story. The principle is, and this is what I would love for you to write, I will persist. Now, persistence always wins. But when you add these next 2 words, without exception, there's no way to fail. A 15-year-old growing up in Northern California, living not very far from Santa Cruz, California, he and his friend loved to go on every weekend they could to the beach. And they would do what is called body surf. And that's what you're observing this young man do in front of you right now on the screen. Body surfing is so fun. These 2 boys, 14 and 15, loved body surfing above any other sport that they could get involved in. They'd stay in the water until their skin looked like prunes. Well, one day, the surf was extra high. They were going further out and catching bigger waves. They had just ridden in on an 8-foot wave, which is a fun wave, about the size of what you're looking at here. Maybe this is 10 or 12 feet. Well, they decided to go even further out and catch a bigger ride. They got way out, over 100 yards away from shore, when suddenly the floor of the ocean met their feet. and the water started being sucked down from their neck all the way down to their waist. As they turned and looked out towards the water, they saw the biggest wave they'd ever seen in their life. It was approximately 30 feet in height and bearing down on them. Now, you don't want to get caught under the wake of one of those waves because it'll pulverize you on the bottom of the ocean. One of the young men, the 14-year-old, started swimming directly at the wave and did what is called a duck dive, down through and under and coming up on the other side. The 15-year-old, however, made a different decision and ran for the shore. The problem is running in waist-deep water with the water being sucked backwards wasn't working. He had expended all of his energy trying to swim and run. By the time he noticed where he was at, he was looking straight up at a 30-foot wave about to crest on top of him. Having been in the ocean a good part of his life and been rolled several times with smaller waves, he knew what to do. And that was, at the very last second, take the deepest breath he could and curl into a ball and just get ready for a pounding. And here came the water, tons and tons and tons of it. And it began to roll him around on the floor of the ocean, where he hit rocks and coral and tore his suit and banged his knee, and the top of his head and his back felt like sandpaper. And he had been down almost to the limit of his lungs. Almost to the limit of his lungs. Over a minute and a half. When suddenly the wave let him go, and he started swimming for the surface. He was just about to expel the air in his lungs because the surface was only 2 feet above him when a second rogue wave hit him, and back down to the bottom he went. At this point in time, every muscle in his body ached. His lungs were screaming, they were on fire. And a thought passed through his mind. He was about to drown. In fact, it was a calming thought that said, just let go and breathe in the water. It's all over. At the same time that thought went through his mind, another thought came through. Do you realize it only takes a millionth of a volt to make a decision? The second thought was, do you want to die today? And the young boy said, no. Then do not let go of the air and keep fighting. As he thought, fight with what? I'm out of energy, I'm out of strength, I can barely move, I'm blacking out. The thought came back, fight with everything you've got left if you want to live. Just as he made his decision, I'll fight, sure enough, his feet hit the floor. He pushed up with what little energy he had left, and a second or two later, his head broke the surface. And as he remembers it, the air never tasted so good, better than anything he can remember, as he just laid there on his back, floating, breathing in this beautiful oxygen. Now, what if he had said, well, I did my best, I persisted, it's time to breathe in the water. People would have known he would have tried, but he'd been dead. But he made a new decision. I will persist without exception. So even if it had been hit by a third wave, guess what he'd done? Kept fighting. He wasn't going to die then. And I am so grateful that the 15-year-old made that decision so that I can be sitting here in front of you at age 63 alive, because that was me. That was an important decision. So write in your book or your page, I will persist, and then add the words without exception, because it means I will find a way where there is no way. I will make it over, under, or around whatever obstacle is in front of me until I succeed. You will not fail if you have that motto. Now let me introduce you to another hero of mine who also believes in persisting without exception. As a youth, I loved to run, but I never could quite do anything like this young man. His name is Lasse Viren. He was from the great Nordic cold, where in his country of Finland, there weren't a lot of runners because most of the year it was too freezing to go out and run. And yet Lasse Viren ran as a youth, as a young adult, and finally, in 1972, he qualified, of all things, to run in the Olympics. So to the Olympics he went in 1972. Now you'll notice the big group of people he's running against. His record showed that his very best time in the race wasn't as good as any of their worst times. And so he was expected to finish last. But he had one advantage. He had a very quick start. And he knew if he could explode out of the blocks and get in front, perhaps he could win, or at least place somewhere if he could keep up the grueling pace. So as they got down on their marks, got set, and bang, off went the gun, he exploded into the front place. But as they took their first turn, these fastest runners in the world started passing them one at a time, until the very last one was about to pass him and stepped on his heel, causing him to fall to the ground and hit his head on the cement rail, which knocked him out. Now everybody else sprinted on past him. What's his chances of winning? What's his chances even of finishing the race? And yet, a few seconds later, he lifts his head, looks up, sees everyone several yards in front of him, shakes his head, jumps to his feet, and takes off running, screaming at them, "Come back here." Now again, he's running against the fastest runners in the world. Think about this. His chances of even keeping up with them were slim to none to start with. Now he's yards and yards and yards behind because it's taking him 10, 15 seconds of being knocked out and getting up. The other man, who also fell to the ground, brushed himself off and walked and limped off the track, but not Lasse. He chose to do something so uncommon because he had in the back of his mind, "I will persist without exception." So he took off running with every fiber of his being to catch up with any of these guys who were ahead of him. Of course, I'm sure the crowd thought to themselves, now isn't that awesome that he would get up and at least finish the race. But of course he doesn't stand a chance. But nobody told Lasse because he started to gain on them. Here's the fastest runners in the world and he's catching up. And pretty soon he catches the very last one and they witness that he passed them. Then he passes another, then another, then another, then another, then another, and the race is winding down. They're coming down to the last straightaway. It's only a few yards left, and there's only one man in front of him, and he lunges to hit the tape and wins the race. You heard me right. He won the race, and he won a gold medal. In the next 2 or 3 days, he runs 2 more races and sets world records in both of the 2 new races. As they're interviewing him and asking him how, out of nowhere, he wasn't supposed to even win 1 medal, let alone 3 gold medals, set 2 new world records, he simply says, "Well, I saw that I could get knocked down, get up and win. I knew if I could just stay on my feet, I'd have to do better. I will persist without exception." Mr. Lasse Viren, I salute you. Everyone on this call has what Lasse has, and it's this: a determination to win. But how big is your determination? You see, Lasse Viren's lungs didn't grow while he was laying on the ground knocked out. His muscles didn't suddenly expand. He didn't jump up a superhuman. He was the same laissez-faire who came into the race set to win last place. By being knocked down and knocked out, it made him angry. It made him reach down into a place he hadn't reached before. It made him do something that was not comfortable, I am sure. His lungs were burning up running that fast, setting world records. But he wanted it bad enough that he succeeded. How bad do you want financial freedom? Really, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to do what others won't do so that you can have what others don't have? Your own financial freedom, your own time freedom, your own ability to reach out to others and bless them also. Because there's only one way to win in the isogenics race, and that is with a team, a right team and a left team that you inspire, not require, but inspire. Let me introduce you to my reasons for my inspiration. It's to not take any chances with the 17 grandchildren that I have. Here's about 8 of them. You will notice how healthy they are. It's because they're having their daily minimum shake administered by Grandpa right here in Grandpa's house. But it's a requirement of all of my married children that my 17 grandkids get a shake a day, no matter what. Because I know that within that shake, there's more nutrition than they'll get eating all the rest of the food they'll eat all day long. In the last closing minutes, let me introduce you to just one more of my heroes. Growing up, I loved to shoot a bow and arrow. I was very good at it. In fact, I entered several contests and took first place. I was able to, at 20 yards, place 6 arrows in the bullseye, time after time. But Byron Ferguson is the world champion archer. He can place 6 arrows in the bullseye at 100 yards. There's no one like him. And yet, I believe I could share with anyone on this line a few techniques of how to hold a bow, string a bow, and shoot a bow. And I could enter any one of you into a contest against Byron Ferguson. And as long as you followed the rules, and Byron did too, you could outshoot Byron every day of the week. Now, how could we do this? It would be easy. I would blindfold Byron. And you would say, blindfold him and not blindfold you? Well, of course he can't win. He can't see the target. You're right. Without being able to see a target, you're sure not going to hit it. How many of you have written your goal down? May I tell you that a goal unwritten is like a man being blindfolded. You can't see and reach something you don't have. This very night, take 10 minutes, take an hour, take however long it takes to write what your goal is. And I mean your goal 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now, 6 months from now, 90 days from now. What is your goal? If you don't choose to write it down, it's only a wish. And unfortunately, we give up on our wishes as soon as hard times hit. But if it's a written goal and it's posted throughout your house and everyone knows what the goal is because you declare it, then the world will come to your aid to see that you reach it, especially when you persist without exception. You find a way when there is no way. I know it's possible. Now there's a couple of questions here. Just real quick, see if there's anything that I need to know. At the end of the webinar, can you tell me how to order the 2-ounce bottles of Ionic Supreme? I can't find them in the product and price list under orders in my back office. If anyone knows how to order, I don't order. My wife does. She does all of that kind of work, and I'm not the best to ask. But I do know you can make a phone call to the Isagenix office during office hours. In fact, they still may be open this late, and they will know exactly how to make those kind of orders. So you may just want to make a quick phone call to them if that would help. But in closing, let me suggest this. 1, you need to have a why. Hopefully your why is as big as mine. I have 17 of these little guys, and I want to make the world as beautiful as I know how. Finances help. I honestly have 5 four-wheelers sitting in my garage. I live on a lake. I live at the foot of a mountain with a sand dune in the back. And I invite my grandkids to come riding with me on a daily basis. Why? Because I can. I can furnish the four-wheelers. I can furnish the gas, the helmets. All they need to do is furnish getting to my house. And then they're welcome to stay for days if they want. They just have to be quiet during the webinars. Is your why as big as mine? If you don't have 17 kids, I'll let you... I was going to say adopt one of mine, but I can't let go of any of them. I love them that much. The best food I have ever seen that they consume on a daily basis is what they're eating right there. The best foods that you can put in your body are the Isagenix foods. They're living foods. They make a difference. They clean the environment of the body, they re-nourish it, and they support it. We can have the kind of health we're looking for. We can bless the vast majority of people who will listen to us. But in order to make that work, we have to talk to people. How many? Not a lot. If we make 2 contacts per day, we will average between 1 and 2 enrollments per week. That could give us 2 new consultants per month. If you do the math on this, you will end up making $100,000 per year if you're consistent at this, and you teach your people how to do that. And you can teach them by dragging them to one of these webinars. That's all. We help teach with you. I hope I have a lot of teammates on the call tonight. I do notice that Dave's here. I appreciate him down in California. Why? Because he's learning and growing and inviting, I hope, people to be here with us. I will persist without exception. I will write my goals down, my long range and my short range. Your short range are your 90-day sprints. Your long range are your marathons, your 1 and 2 years. Next year's going to come, whether we want it or not. Are we going to be free because of what we decided tonight? I invite you to be. I guarantee you can, if you'll just keep fighting. I didn't have to drown, and I didn't. None of us have to drown in debt and lack of money. Not when we have a vehicle like Isagenix. Let's go out and make a difference. Remember, your attitude will determine your altitude. If you want to join me in an adventure that just keeps getting better because our products keep getting better, I invite you to do that. So Yvonne and Willie and Richard, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, Christina, John and Greg and Donna and David and Dave and Bernard, thank you for joining me tonight. Don't miss this coming Saturday. It'll be an incredible training. And next Tuesday, at the same time, next Tuesday, we're going to have, again, a superstar guest you're not going to want to miss. So join us each Tuesday and Thursday and each Saturday. Bring people when you come. Let them hear what you've heard to be inspired, hopefully, to join you and build part of your team. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you all, and good night to you.